Well, I would introduce myself, but you're going to hear this intro several times during the show. It's Myron from Tapped Out. This is a special show, one of two. It's a two-parter about the Raven Black Memorial Tournament. Capital Wrestling Alliance on January 27th is putting on a show in Frankfort, Delaware called the Raven Black Memorial Tournament. It's got 12 of the greatest women in wrestling today on a massive tournament. After that, they're going to go to a 10-woman battle royal, and there are also quite a few tag and singles matches. So this is a hugely stacked card. This is something everybody really should check out if it's possible. If you want a ticket, you go to www.cwawrestlingaction.com. They're also hosting 3 seminars that week or that day. You've got a Thunder Rosa seminar. You've got a seminar with Brian Christopher. You know him as Grandmaster Sexay from Too Cool, former WWE Tag Team Champions. To get in with the seminars, you need to go and email them at CWAoffice302@gmail.com. They're only $30, and you get tickets to the show. So sit back and listen to this. You'll hear me introduce myself several times, and learn something more about these wrestlers. They were all terrific. I could not have had a better experience interviewing these people. I could not have had a better experience working with the people at the Capital Wrestling Alliance. We're going to start the show with Thunder Rosa. We're going to go from that to Kylie Ray. We've got a Tess Valentine interview and a Nikki Adams interview and a Davion interview. I think you're going to enjoy this. Thanks, folks. Hey, folks. Myron from the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. Tonight, I am joined by Thunder Rosa, or as you know her in Lucha Underground, Cobra Moon. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Good. You've got some very interesting things coming up January. You're going to be wrestling in the Raven Black Memorial Tournament.
Yes, absolutely. That's my very first time in Delaware, actually, so I'm excited.
Cool. So you've never been to Delaware before?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. Well, you've wrestled all over the country, I know.
Yeah, I have, but it's like there's like certain pockets of the country that I have not been able to like make it, and this is one of the things that it was offered to me last year, and I'm actually really excited. We released yesterday one of a really, really cool promo for it. I don't know if you got the chance to see it. We've posted it on Twitter, and I know CWA was going to post it on Facebook, but this year, definitely I want to make sure that I will, as a performer and as a wrestler, I want to separate myself from everybody else and really, produce some really awesome promos that will hype my participation in it, on most of the shows that I'm part of,
that's wonderful.
I think that's key for people to be like, oh my God, this girl really puts the time on it,
Yeah, it's every little bit's important, even the small stuff. You get that stuff right and people understand. But you've got a seminar going on in that weekend too, right?
Yes, I do. On Friday, I have a seminar from 11 to 1. It's $30, and you get 2 tickets with the purchase of the seminar. I think it's for those who are new or those who have been in the business that want to try something different. I have done multiple seminars here in the state of Texas, and I bring a lot of the stuff that I've learned in different parts of the world, and I'll bring it to the seminar. I mean, it's only 2 hours. I will try to do my best to cover as much as I can, but I always like to bring new stuff.
Excellent. So you share about your experiences you learned traveling as a wrestler?
Yes.
Where all have you been?
I've been in Mexico City and the areas in Mexico, Tijuana, Canada. I've been also in Europe, in Barcelona, London, Scotland, Germany, and also I've been in Japan. I spent 6 months in Japan.
6 months?
The last 2 years, yes.
That's
Between
amazing.
5 to 6 months, yes.
Now, I saw your pictures from the Europe trip, and they were so beautiful.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. more than the wrestling part was like learning about the history, learning about the people, and like learning about the different aspects of the business. It was very, very interesting. I stumbled upon Lucha Britannia, which is like a pocket of a training facility, and where Pro Wrestling Me runs most of the time, which is another wrestling promotion. And then here, the trainers, they're very heavily based on character, which I really enjoy. So, like, the people that participate on the show are students, and they focus a lot on developing their characters and like everything around it, promos, everything. It was really, really a cool experience. Kind of like they allow me to be there. I think I'm like one of the 3 people outside of that school that were able to be on the show. I was actually invited, and it was an honor.
Oh, that's really neat. So they teach lucha in England?
Yeah, Lucha Britannia. Gary, which is the owner and founder, he's a big lucha fan, and he did his own research on his own with books, with video, with everything. He was telling me a story, and it was really interesting how he brought, the idea of like lucha libre to London, like in the last 10 years, and it's all amazing, like what some of the characters that he has created through that.
I bet those crowds are interesting.
Oh yeah, that crowd is very, very loud and very into the show, because it's so small and like I said, it's very like character oriented, but also the guys and the girls, like they put a lot of work. They're pretty amazing.
Yeah, the character is I think something that wrestling is built around. The wrestling I watched as a child that got me involved in wanting to just follow the business and be somewhat of a small part in it was character driven, and I love that part about wrestling.
And I feel like that's like the most important thing for us as performers is like really developing a good character that you will transcend gender, transcend cultures, transcend age, everything.
That's terrific. Yeah, because it makes everybody watch it. It makes people involved, and when people are involved, they spend their money, they come to the shows, they enjoy them, they buy merchandise, and that's what's great about wrestling these days. Now, I saw you have a pro wrestling tee store.
Yes.
Do you sell a lot of T-shirts on there?
No, not as much as I would like to. I mean, it's I don't know. Maybe I should. I'm not doing my diligence to promote it as much as I should.
Uh-huh.
But I know when I went to Germany, somebody ordered a shirt from there, and they had my shirt, so it was pretty cool.
They had your shirt on in Germany?
Yeah,
that is terrific.
That were like really excited to see me. So I was like, oh, then I'm doing something right.
Yeah, because I've run into people not wearing our shirts, but people that come up to me and say, "Yeah, I listen to your show," and it stuns me. So I can't imagine what it'd be like to go halfway around the world and see somebody wearing one of the shirts.
They know who I was, and they were super excited. And when I came up with my my calendar, they ordered it. So I had a bunch of people ordering stuff from outside of the country.
That's really neat. You must have done a big impression there on your tour.
I think I did.
So what's your favorite crowd?
My favorite crowd? It depends. I like really like sometimes PG when the little kids, because they get like excited about everything, and I also like the bar crowd when especially when I'm wrestling with little people. Yeah. That's a fun one. That's so much fun. Yeah, I love wrestling little people.
I had a little person wrestler on the show a while back, and I asked him. I said, "Sir, what do you want me to call you? I don't want to refer to you by a wrong term." He goes, "I'm a midget wrestler. Call me a midget wrestler." I'm like, "Okay," but this guy was just every bit as serious and worked as hard and trained as hard as everybody else. And I didn't realize that was so serious. And apparently that's real big in Mexico, right?
Yeah, they're really big, and they're great athletes. Some of the stuff that these guys do, I'm like, holy Jesus, like they have a lot of body control, and they've been training since since they're young. So it's pretty amazing to see them. Like I said, I had a chance to work with them in Lucha Underground, so it's always great, and I learned so much from them.
Cool. How's that Lucha Underground gig going?
It's going good. We're gonna start taping pretty soon, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's got to be great. Yeah.
Really,
Everybody's telling me I need to start watching that, and I just have not had the time, and I've never watched a lot of lucha.
Uh-huh.
Is it something that you need to be a lucha fan to watch, or can you watch it as just like a typical American wrestling fan?
I will say come with an open mind, because the storylines are not your typical storyline, and
Okay.
it's like it has a flair. Some of the season 1 was heavily on lucha libre,
Mm-hmm.
but season 2, season 3 is more like a mixture of things. So a lot of people that were not watching wrestling started watching Lucha Underground, and they fell back in love with lucha libre or like wrestling.
Yeah, I've heard great things about what AR Fox has done on the shows, because he's from Atlanta, and I've seen him live a couple of times.
Oh, he's great, man. He is absolutely amazing.
What's the deal with the reptiles thing?
Well, it's a crazy tribe that we have. I'm the queen of the reptiles,
Uh-huh.
of the snakes, and like the story goes as follows: is so we were the most dominant tribe of the 7 tribes that are in the temple, but as I told the story, Drago, who's my slave now, he betrayed us. So because of him, we pretty much lost everything. I died, but then two of my guys, Vivora and Pindar, they saved my DNA, and I was, genetically replaced with another body.
Uh-huh.
So, and this season, I'm hoping to regain control of the temple.
Oh, cool. It sounds like Kevin Sullivan's booking some of that.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, some of the stories are, like, out there.
It's fun, though. My stepson he just talks about it nonstop. He says it's the best thing on television.
It is. I mean, it is really entertaining. It's like a soap opera,
Yeah.
but for anybody with action, a lot of action.
I'm a big comic book fan, so that sounds like something that would appeal to me.
Yeah, we have comic books, too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you should give it.
I'm gonna have to check this out.
It's on our stuff. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I know it's on Netflix. How many? They got what? 3 seasons on there, or 2?
Yes, sir. Or 2. 2 right now.
Okay, awesome. Well, do you have any more shows coming up you'd like to promote?
Yeah, we'd like to promote my show, which is the one that I run with my husband. It's called Sabotage Wrestling. We're running the first ever intergender show in the state of Texas. This will be our second intergender show. We'd run our first one in California. So it is this Friday, the 19th, in Austin, Texas, at 2015 East Riverside, Austin, Texas. And, I mean, there's been so much going on the social media, especially on Twitter, with like some of the guests that are coming to our show, and also with our talent. They're like really taking this to the next level. So it's gonna be really interesting. It's gonna be really fun. I'm really excited. And like I said, we've been able to create good promos, packages, and stuff like that to hype up our matches, and people really responding really well to it.
Yeah, I've been retweeting that Kevin Harvey appearance there Friday.
Oh, yes,
pretty heavily.
He will be there doing a seminar too, and like our first seminar was a success, and this one definitely, like, we're asking, it's open for males and females.
Yeah, he's doing one the day before here in Atlanta, and we're picking him up from the airport. So it's just weird, the ties. We'll both be seeing him 2 days. I'll see him one day, you'll see him the next.
I know.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I hope that does over really well for y'all. He has praised y'all's promotion. This is a great feat.
It's we're just like with him in the struggle. It's like a lot of like the rice where he started is privately owned, and then it's the same with us. he knows what we're going through, and he's like doing it on a bigger scale, and we're definitely like, we using Sabotage as a platform for a lot of girls to show, you know, what they can do, especially girls that nobody knows who they are. And that's what we're proud of is like we've been able to put some people on the map because they're willing to work and they're willing to, you know, put themselves out there.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about Rise. They can't be everywhere at once. So if he's got you doing the same thing down in Texas, that's a lot of area y'all are able to cover.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're like collaborating. We're not like trying to compete. It's like definitely like right now we're trying to collaborate on this, on all of this, especially for our girls, because that's like a spaces for us, you know, to wrestle, because there's not a lot.
It's hard to find good wrestling training schools. People tell me I'm not a wrestler and I've never been through any training, but you know, it's some people do good at one school, some don't. And if y'all have got a quality promotion out there, and it's good to hear about somebody doing that somewhere else. Cool. Well,
it's really good.
Definitely. I really, really appreciate you coming on tonight, and thank you for talking with me about the tournament. I can't wait to find out what the finish is. It looks like there's a lot of talent there.
There is, and for me in my match, it's gonna be against Lacey Lane and Kylie Ray. Kylie Ray just was crowned the CWA Pro first ever champion in Chicago, so I know she's coming up for more. And you know, she has a really bright future ahead of her. And I've faced her, I think, like once or twice. So I know her moveset. I know her pretty well. Lacey Lane, on the other hand, I have only faced her once in Roar before, and I was really surprised with her. What was that?
Y'all tore the house down that night. I was there.
Yeah, and we were the opening match. So imagine what the three of us can do, because the three of us have like some similar styles in some aspects. I think it's gonna be really, really awesome. This is one of the matches that, you know, you guys don't want to miss. But I'm gonna win too.
I saw Kylie at WrestleCade, and she was very impressive there. And there were there were a lot of women wrestlers there, and it was good to see a different variety of people from different sides of the country. And I really enjoyed that. And I really wish I could be there at this tournament. We've got a friend of ours of the show that's going to be there shooting some footage. So I'm just dying to see that. And I wish you the best of luck in this tournament.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really do appreciate this. Tell us where they can find your merchandise and where they can find your social media.
They can find my merchandise by first, because I haven't uploaded the new merchandise in the shows, during live shows, or you can message me on my like page at Thunder Rosa 2022, or Twitter or Instagram at Thunder Rosa 22 too. My website is unstoppablepr.com.
Oh, you got your own website. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I do have a website.
Cool. That's great for wrestlers to have that. I keep trying to tell people, get your website where people can find your information.
Yeah, you can find all that stuff in there.
Well, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope you do great at the tournament, okay?
Thank you.
Good night.
All right, bye.
Hey, folks, it's Myron from the Tap Out Wrestling Podcast. Tonight, I am joined by the first ever CWA Pro Women's Champion, Kylie Ray. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Wonderful. I got to see you at WrestleCade, and it was a really fun match, and you had such a great attitude and a smile. It was just electric.
Oh, thank you.
Your enthusiasm is so captivating. You know, it's easy to see how much you're just into everything.
Yeah, I try to be. It's fun for me being out there. I didn't know you were at WrestleCade though.
Yes,
did you have fun? Did you go the whole weekend?
I went the whole weekend, and I had an absolute blast.
Yeah, I had been there the year before, but I didn't get to wrestle on the show. But yeah, this is my first time wrestling there, and it was a lot of fun.
I'm going back next year. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah. We took me and my partner on the podcast, and my stepson with us, and we had a really great time. We met a lot of wonderful people, and we saw some really good wrestling.
Yeah, the whole weekend was filled with good wrestling. It was a lot of fun. Even the Super Show on Saturday was probably my favorite. I like seeing the legends. So.
Yeah, there were all kind of people there. I was just amazed the talent they were able to draw in, and how friendly everybody was. You know, I got to
I like that they have a bunch of things going on at the same time. Like you have wrestling in the ring if you want to watch that, and then you can buy merch on the side, and then you could even talk to like your favorite wrestler. So it's pretty cool what they're doing.
It was awesome. You have the Pikachu bit going, right? You like the anime and the.
I do, and now I have Charmander too, so that's even better. I don't know how that really came about. It was more so I feel like I'm not creative, so I was just thinking of a design that I could do, and Pokemon just kind of came up, and then I was like, oh, I want something like that. Smiley, and I feel like the color yellow is good for that.
It's a very good color. Since we've been doing the podcast, we have ran into so many people that are into anime and Pikachu, and Keith Lee has Pokemon on his tights, and it's just amazing. I just didn't think it would be so close.
I see Keith Lee a lot, and he's always got like his Pikachu hat and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, okay, I should probably get one of those.
Well, also earlier in the year, you did the Rise show, and you were selected to go to Japan, right?
Yes, I think we're going in July. I think the second weekend in July, so I'm fairly nervous and also very excited for that.
Have you ever traveled overseas?
No, I actually just got my passport about 2 weeks ago.
Wonderful. I talked to the Angel Dust at WrestleCade, and she's really excited about it too. She's been on the show.
It's funny because they didn't tell us. Like, we found out when the entire crowd found out. They didn't tell us what we were going out there for until they made the announcement. Yeah.
Well,
that was all real emotion out there.
I can imagine. So, Saturday the 27th, you are on the Raven Black Memorial Tournament show. You've got a pretty good match to start out with Thunder Rosa and Lacey Lane. You ever wrestled either one of those before?
I know it's going to be pretty tough because I've been in there with Thunder Rosa twice now. One was singles and the other one was a triple threat. So, I know she's very tough. I've never been in there with Lacey Lane though. I've heard amazing things about her though, so I'm pretty excited. But I know it's also going to be very tough for me. So
I got to see them both live. Not Birmingham, both live in Atlanta, where we live, and they put on a hell of a match. So it was just,
I could imagine.
It was really, really cool to get to see that. And just the amount of women's wrestling I've got to see this year has been fantastic. And it's so much more prevalent than it used to be. And this with Capital Wrestling putting on the all women's the show. And this show is stacked with talent.
I know. I didn't realize because I had been contacted last year about it. And then I, kept seeing more and more names pop up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much fun.
Oh, yeah. So, they brought in some heavy hitters, but you're a pretty big deal in indie wrestling. You've been with Reality of Wrestling?
Yes. I actually had my first match ever there, so it's kind of like my home now. My home away from home, I'll say.
That's Booker T's promotion, and, I mean, he's a legend.
Yeah, he turned me into what I am today, so I can't thank him enough for that.
That's awesome. So you picked up a lot of things from him?
Oh yeah, he was there a couple times a week, and he's definitely not afraid to tell you what you need to hear. So I definitely respect him for that. And he obviously has been where everybody wants to be for so many years, and he's still there now. So he definitely knows his stuff.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. You get to train with somebody that's just so amazing as he is. Someone I've watched on television for so long. Yeah. I've never met him, but I met Stevie Ray at WrestleCade, but I didn't.
Oh, they were all at WrestleCade actually. Stevie Ray was, and Sharma was there too. Booker was there last year actually.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun at the bar at the hotel across the street.
Oh, I could imagine.
Just meeting people.
They're a fun time.
Yeah, just so many of my heroes from childhood. It was amazing.
That's how I felt too. I felt like the biggest fan that weekend because like I grew up watching all of them. And I was like, oh, I'm here as a wrestler, but I'm actually just a fan.
I totally fanboyed on Tom Pritchard, but I managed to keep it like under control, so I didn't look like an idiot because he was the biggest, my biggest hero growing up in wrestling. Because we lived in Birmingham and we watched Continental every weekend.
Oh, okay.
And I really admired him, and he teaches it right.
He's doing a seminar up here in a couple weeks, so I think everybody's pretty excited for that.
I can imagine. That guy is an amazing professional. He's an amazing professional.
He has a great mind.
Yes, he's trained some of the all-time greatest in wrestling. That's cool. But so the Raven Black show, the proceeds are going to be going to a breast cancer, someone who has breast cancer right now. And I think that's really great that they're able to do something like that.
Yes.
Do you see yourself winning the tournament, or do you see yourself, placing highly? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I always go in with some confidence. I wouldn't say I'm cocky, but I think I have a pretty good shot. I guess we'll just have to wait and see next weekend, though. Mm-hmm. I've kind of been training my butt off for the past couple of weeks, so I'd say the odds are pretty high.
Is that a really long trip for you, Delaware?
I think this flight is maybe 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours, so we'll see. I've never been that far east, so.
Far east? Where all have you traveled to?
For wrestling or for fun?
Yeah, for wrestling.
Let's see. I'm in Texas a lot, I think, and then I just moved back home to Chicago, so I've been up here pretty much almost every weekend, I would say. But I think the most is between Texas and Chicago, and then Louisiana a couple times, but I haven't been to Louisiana in a couple of months. But I would say, yeah, mostly pretty much Illinois and then Texas. Now,
where is Zelo Pro located?
It's in Chicago, but actually their next show in April is going to be in Milwaukee. So I believe they're running in Milwaukee from now on. I'm not too positive. We'll see. But yeah, it's a fairly new company, but they have a really good thing going so far.
They must, because the name keeps popping up on my Facebook and my Twitter. I keep seeing it listed and people talking about it.
You should check it out. It's honestly, it's a fun company, and it's run very well, and everybody there is really nice. That's and they care about wrestling, so.
That's good. It's good to hear that people are out there doing positive stuff in the wrestling
business.
It
makes it even better.
Yep. Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear, because I try to learn as much as I can about wrestling all over the country, but since I don't get to go to shows that far on I don't get to really experience it. So it's always good to get feedback from somebody who's there on the promotions.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate you coming on tonight, Kylie. And thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I wish you the best of luck in this tournament, and hopefully someday we can get you back on. We can do a long interview with you. But cool.
We can do a post-show interview.
Yes, a post-show. Exactly. Well, you have very good luck in the tournament. Stay safe, and I hope you have a great trip, okay?
Okay, thank you very much. It was nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you. Have a wonderful night. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, folks. This is Myron from the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. Tonight, I am joined by a very interesting woman. Her name is Tess Valentine, and I believe she is a mermaid. How you doing tonight?
Yes. I'm good. How about yourself?
Doing wonderful. Tell me about this mermaid thing.
So when I was younger, I was obsessed with mermaids, like every young girl. So I got mermaid tattoos of scales on my leg. So then it kind of incorporated into my mermaid gimmick. So I'm a mermaid.
Well, that's cool.
And
getting to do something you enjoy.
And people who say mermaids aren't real can't convince me, because like 99.9% of the ocean is undiscovered. So there could be mermaids in there somewhere.
Somewhere, definitely. A lot of room out there. They're always finding new stuff every day, especially around Japan. God, there's some crazy stuff being found around Japan in the ocean.
There you
go. Well, how long have you been in the wrestling business?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. And you wrestled primarily along the East Coast?
Yes. Sometimes I do wrestle in Milwaukee or Chicago.
Well, you're Chicago. Cool. Have you ever been able to go out of the country for wrestling?
Nope, not yet. That's actually one of my goals, like
Yeah, I
long-term
hear
goals, wrestling.
really good things about being able to travel, that people say it does wonders for their career.
Yes.
So, where did you train?
I started out training with Robbie Page,
Huh?
and then now I'm currently training with Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance. Jake the Machine Davis trains me there, and Jason Raditz. But Luke Gallows on WWE, he originally wrestled with Jake at Elite Pro Wrestling Alliance, and he grew up with the Highwaymen there. So it's kind of cool that we're all in the same area, and we have that knowledge to look back to if we need it.
Yeah, he's got a school down here south of Atlanta, Good Brothers Dojo.
Yeah.
And everybody says good stuff about that. I haven't been able to tour the facilities yet, so I don't know really that much about it.
I haven't either since he opened it, but it's definitely on the travel list this summer, hopefully.
Do you ever get down this way?
I was in Georgia probably a year and a half ago. I wrestled down there with Wrestle America with him and Amber O'Neil.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's his wife. She's a pretty good big name in the women's wrestling, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
I think she's with WOW right now. That's where I saw her last.
Yes.
Cool. That's really neat that you have a tie to this area and you've been down to Wrestle America. They have a lot of shows and they bring a lot of big talent. That's really cool. When I
first started out, so it will be exciting to get back down there now that I have more experience in business.
Cool. Now I looked up, I was reading on and off about you and doing my research, and I kept, your YouTube matches kept popping up, and you have wrestled some of the biggest names in women's wrestling.
For the most part, yeah.
Mickey James?
I believe I'm a little underrated, but I think every girl says that. So.
Yeah, well, if you've got those kind of matches, you can't be that underrated, though. I mean, somebody thought you were worthy of that. What was it like? Well, who was your favorite opponent?
Honestly, my favorite match of last year would have to been a toss-up. I wrestled Casey Spinelli, who's currently on Impact.
Yes.
And I wrestled her at Road Women's Wrestling, and it was probably the funnest. Just the reasons why I love wrestling that match was it. It was just fun. The crowd was into it. We joked around. She's a great woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then the match with Mickey James was awesome. I got a lot of knowledge out of that. I've also wrestled Sienna. I wrestled her as well. That was pretty cool. Daphne, like the Scream Queen, Daphne was the manager for my match at the end of the last year, so it's pretty cool. It's been cool. I've had a lot of great opportunities with names to get knowledge and continue to grow in this business.
I'm supposed to meet Daphne. Well, I don't know if I'm supposed to meet. I am going to a seminar on Thursday that one of the local places is holding. Just as a fan, Kevin Harvey's doing a seminar at One Fall, and Daphne is supposed to be there. So I've got this really unique opportunity. I've always wanted to meet her.
She's awesome. She's the most personable person I've probably met, and she gets it. So I definitely look forward to great things from her in the future with her career and what she does with her knowledge that she has.
Is she going to be doing more wrestling, or is she doing seminars, or?
I don't think she's cleared to wrestle. I know she was saying that she can't afford to get any more concussions, so I really don't see her wrestling. Maybe managing, GM type thing, and just passing her knowledge, doing seminars.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you like to do the
wrestling? I don't. Do I what?
Do you like to do the seminars?
I do. They give you input, and most of the time they're worth what you put into them. I mean, you can train at the same school every week, numerous times a week, but if someone sees you over and over again, they're going to get used to what you do. If someone else sees you fresh, they're going to be able to pick out things that other people wouldn't be able to see.
Okay. That makes sense. And they do a lot. Actually, the coolest thing is they do a lot of seminars about talking now, too.
Yeah.
About your promos.
That was part of her seminar. We did promos and, like, gimmicks.
Hmm. So you do the mermaid gimmick all the time.
Yes, I do.
And so you come
it's a blast.
You wear the mermaid tails to the ring, or?
Yes. I have a glittery tail that every little girl would love to wear. I wear that to the ring. And then I also have, like, as incorporated into my gear, my kick pad covers have fins on them. So even when my mermaid skirt does come off, my whole entire gear is still a full-on mermaid outfit.
Now, do you do the little scales on your face? Is that a tattoo, or do you do those with makeup?
I do that with makeup.
Okay. I was trying to figure that out.
My dog would not allow me to have face tattoos.
Well, once you get those face tattoos, it's kind of a no way back type thing.
Yeah. My job would fire me probably, so
yeah.
That's not going to work.
Yeah, that's the way my job is too. I have my tattoos on my legs, but I cannot display any tattoos at work. So
we used to be like that, but they changed it. They changed the policy, I guess, for the new day and age, which is kind of cool because I can get more tattoos so you can see, but still can't get them on my face or hands. So
yeah, I'm just super happy we got rid of neckties at work. That was my thing. As soon as I got to stop wearing those, I was super happy. I'll wait on tattoos till later.
There you go.
Now, you are in the Raven Black tournament coming up.
Yeah.
And you are in the first match you have, you're with Santana Garrett and Nikki Adams. Now, Nikki Adams is someone I'm learning about, but Santana Garrett's a really big name. How do you prepare for that?
I mean, I study both opponents, and I'm kind of excited to see what Santana brings to the ring. Anytime I'm in the ring with a woman of her stature, they push me to another level, and Nikki Adams has a lot of choice words for both of us, but I feel like we're going to come out on top.
Mm-hmm. Now, have you had any experience with the two of them before?
I've met Nikki Adams in passing, but other than that, no, I have not.
Okay, cool. And the tournament's in Delaware, so that's not too far from where you're at now, is it?
No, it's about like 2.5 hour drive.
Well,
3 hour drive, I think.
It's not too bad. I was really impressed with the fact that they're going to be donating to a first responder with breast cancer, because I think that's very important to give back like that.
Oh yeah, that's a great thing. I mean, you don't see that often.
No. There are a few tournaments that run that do the benefit like that, and I think it's great that wrestling is able to give back, because so many people get so much entertainment out of it. And when they're willing to give back.
That's what we're there for.
Now, does a mermaid work face or heel?
I can do either. I'm mostly known as face. I have a very bubbly personality, but if I have to turn that off, I can. So it just depends on what's asked of me that night. But for the most part, I'm the fun-loving, happy mermaid, or I can be the evil, let's kill everyone, siren/mermaid.
Yeah, versatility in that. That's a good thing to have. Cool. So, I noticed, I was looking at your Twitter page the other day, and apparently you are confused about the whole Tide Pods thing.
Yeah, I officially told my boyfriend yesterday that we will no longer be purchasing Tide Pods because this whole hoopla does not make it worth it.
Now, that's y'all's normal detergent?
Yeah.
My son is allergic to Tide Pods, so we don't use it here.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now it's like when you're in the checkout line, people are going to be like, "So are you putting that in your spaghetti, or is it going to go in your laundry?" and that should be a question that's never asked.
I don't understand. Are they going to require ID for it now or something?
I hope so. Well, you have to for medicine.
Yeah. I told my kids, I'm like, y'all going to eat that? Go ahead. Kind of a test.
Right.
You know, you got a career.
Right. There's a thing on the internet that said in like 1998, we'll have flying cars in the new years to come. And then in 2018, we're telling like young teens, please don't eat Tide Pods. Like,
yeah. When I was a kid, it was marijuana and Satan. And I guess now it's detergent.
Right. Yeah. That's tough.
Yeah. Raising kids right now, it's confusing because you don't know whether to tell them not to do something or just tell them, you're so stupid. I don't know if you need to do that or not.
Right.
Oh man.
It's mind-numbing.
Yeah, it's mind-numbing. Kids are different these days. Yeah, I'm so glad my kids are kind of beyond, like they're not quite that crazy age yet. They're 17 and 14. Unfortunately, my daughter got out of the whole mermaid thing, but my little niece, we gave her a mermaid tail for Christmas. That's a blanket.
There you go.
And she hopped around.
I have one of those, and I'm 20 and I'm 27. So,
well, what made you?
I get tagged in mermaid stuff, and people are like, "Buy this, buy that," and I'm like, "I'm gonna be broke."
Yeah. You Little Mermaid fan, or is that what got you into this, or?
No, not really. Like, I like The Little Mermaid, but I really like water. I remember growing up, I wanted to be a marine biologist, but that's pretty much what every kid wanted to be. So, I just like the water. I think it's relaxing, and it's just nice to have something to hope for or imagine that's there, because it can't be really proved that it is or isn't. So,
yeah. Now, do you get down to the ocean a lot?
I try to. We recently went to Cancun, and that was nice.
Yeah.
And then we went to Ocean City earlier in the year.
I've been to Ocean City.
The beach, and yeah, it's nice. We lost so much money in the arcade.
Yeah, God, we could have done that. I was at the custom T-shirt places, you know, where they just make whatever T-shirt they have all the things. Too. Oh yeah, and now all of them have holes in the underarms and stuff because they were so cheap.
Yeah.
It was a blast.
Oh yeah.
Just eating and going up and down like that, the boardwalk. I'd never experienced anything like that. So it was really, really cool. And then I've been to Cancun and the water is so blue and clear.
Yes. That was our thing. Like, if we set up and the water wasn't that blue, we wanted our money back.
Yeah.
But it was never that blue.
Now, do you dive at all, or you?
No, we did go snorkeling. I would love to dive. That would be awesome. I would be totally okay with it, but I don't know if I'd have to wrangle someone else to go with me because my boyfriend would not have it.
He doesn't want to go underwater like that.
Like, we tried to snorkel and that was too much. So I can only imagine what diving would be like.
Yeah, my girlfriend has to drag me through stuff too, so I can totally relate to him on that. Yeah. Even if I want to do it, sometimes I need the extra encouragement.
Yeah, I'm the wild one. I jump off bleachers and do backflips through tables and stuff, and he's like, no, we're not snorkeling.
Now, does he wrestle, or?
No, he's a carpenter.
Wow, because a lot of people stay in the business as far as they're dating, but a carpenter, how does he feel about what you do?
He works a lot, and I work a lot as well, and do wrestling. We're both from the same small town, so for him, he supports me in everything I do. He thinks it's awesome that I chase my dreams, so, and he's very understanding for a lot of things I have to do or how much I have to run. He's my support system and everything.
Yeah, that's great to have someone like that. That is definitely great because it's so helpful to have someone supportive at home.
It's hard to do wrestling if you don't have somebody like that, so.
I cannot even fathom what the indie wrestlers go through because, you know, we go to shows. We just go to shows and then we talk to wrestlers and it's draining. So draining for me, just sitting on the bleachers. Y'all put your bodies through so much.
It's rough.
Did you do a lot of high spots?
It's so rewarding. Huh?
Do you do a lot of high spots or?
So I'm really flippy. which is why it kind of works with the whole mermaid thing, because I throw a lot of kicks, and I'm a thicker girl, I'll do it that way. And no one expects me to flip or be able to move like I do, so when I do, it's like, holy crap, she just did that. But last year, I brought in my Horizon, and I had a no DQ match, and then I had a Falls Count Anywhere match. And recently, I've been known for doing some pretty crazy things. So the bleachers in the high school at our show, I was climbing them beforehand, like looking at the area for the Falls Count Anywhere match, and ended up doing a backflip off of these bleachers, the tippy top of them, and landing on my opponent. And then not even a week later, I had a no DQ match, and I was like, let me backflip through a table.
Through a table?
Yeah, through a table.
Oh, wow. Now, do you worry about that? Does it scare you?
I trust the people I do it with, or I wouldn't do it at all.
So you'd have to know the person you're working with.
Right, like the bleacher thing, one girl was catching me jumping off the top of the bleachers, and I probably wouldn't do that with half the people I meet in passing, but I've known this girl since she started training, so I would trust her with my life. So I did that, and then the girl that we had the Falls Count Anywhere match, I trust her as well, because we really put each other through a lot in that match, and I know I could get around. It was just landing on the table and breaking it.
You broke the table? Oh,
yeah, snapped it in half. It's online. It's pretty entertaining.
Now, was that table gimmicked, or was it just a regular table?
No, it was a regular table.
How? It's like the guys in Japan. Because of those tables that don't look like they were ever intended to break.
Well, I mean, honestly, it was like a thin table, kind of, because when I put her on it, it gave a little, but it still hurt. I remember going through the table and I was wiggling each arm and like wiggling my feet, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still in one piece.
Oh, did you put her on the table and dove on it and went?
And she moved.
Oh, she moved out of the way, so you hit it.
Yes.
Oh man. Does that? Do you get scared, or do you get nervous, or how do you prepare for that?
You have to have faith in what you're doing. Like, I knew without a doubt I could get around and land. The table just had to break. So I was glad it broke. But, I mean, everyone gets anxious. Her and I were anxious for that match just because we put our bodies through so much. Like, she got put through chairs and I got put through a table. And, like, you get anxious, but at the same time, like, you're excited for the product that you're going to produce for everybody.
Yeah. Now, does the adrenaline help to get with the shock of hitting that?
Yeah, because I didn't feel it until after. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you're getting doing some of the harder core stuff.
It's on the edge, I guess. I don't know about like forks and bulbs and stuff like that, but
that Abdullah the Butcher stuff or the light tube stuff is just insane.
No, I have a full-time job and I'm a store manager, so I can't not miss work.
Oh yeah. Oh, you in retail?
I'm a store manager at Sheets, if you know what that is. It's like a Wawa.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not a store manager, but I'm an assistant manager for a department at a grocery store down here.
Right.
In the day, and yeah, you can't miss work because the store has to open.
Right.
Yeah, it would be really rough if you went through a table the hard way and couldn't make it to work the next day.
Yeah. Yep.
Now,
it's fun having interviews and getting those questions like, has wrestling ever caused you to miss any work? No, not at all.
Oh my God, you must be really tough then.
Yeah, I have to be.
Yeah, I mean, I've had days I go to work with my back sore just from sitting on the bleachers.
Oh my goodness.
And I bitch and complain, and it's like, God almighty, you're going through the tables and the chairs and smashing it up and doing all this and then going into work. Oh, now have you ever been busted open?
No, No, I have been like scratched and stuff like that, but I've never been hit to where anything has, like my face has been busted or anything.
Mm-hmm. No broken bones?
Knock on wood. No, I have not.
Well, that's terrific. That's
Did
good
that
luck.
running track, so.
Uh-huh. Oof. Yeah, I would be terrified to jump off something. I don't see how y'all do that.
My dog.
Oh,
Dogs
cool.
barking like crazy.
Yeah, my dogs run. I'm in the basement. My dogs run up on the hardwood floors upstairs, and you can't hear a thing down here. So it's like, tell the kids, don't get the dogs excited. Daddy's recording.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping they were being really good, and then they must have heard something. So.
Oh yeah, well, that's perfectly understandable. We've done interviews before where people's kids has run up and jacked the headphones off their head while they were recording. So dogs really don't bother them. It's always fun to get into somebody's day-to-day life enough to hear their pets and things like that. It makes the interviews more fun and more human, where people can get to know more about you. And especially if you work face a lot like you do, people like to know the different things about people's lives and what they do when they're not in the ring. Now, this tournament, I was amazed to find out that the first round is triple threat. I've never seen anything like that.
And it's
before.
elimination style.
Uh-huh. Oh, it's not.
So.
It's elimination style triple threat.
I'm assuming. I mean, that's the way it looks posted. So that's what I'm preparing for. Maybe it'll be different.
Have you ever wrestled for Capital Wrestling Alliance before?
No, I have not.
They draw some big names. They have really stacked this tournament heavily.
Oh, I know. I mean, most of the girls I know are in it, so I'm excited to see them. It's going to be a great chance for us, like, to prove to the world that we can do a show with just women, and we can run it just as well as any just singly stacked man show. So I'm excited for that opportunity, and I'm grateful that they gave us that opportunity to show all of our abilities and have faith in us to build a show strictly on all women.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I got in touch with them through the producer at Rebel Life Media. I had interviewed him for the show, and he kept talking about this show he was going to and talking about how that was an all-women show and it was going to be great. And I looked into it and said, wow, I gotta talk to these people. It's so good to see a women's show, all women's show going on. And we're working on something like that down here with one of the promoters. He's going to try to put on an all women's show. We're helping out with it. But I think it's
Where
just
are you located? In Atlanta, you said?
Atlanta. Yes, ma'am. Yeah,
Dude, I'll
we're
come
trying
down. Look me up.
I'll mention it to him. I will definitely mention it to him. He's a really
I'm also
cool guy.
traveling.
Oh yeah, the traveling is good. Get your name out there and get better. The more people that know your name, the quicker you are to get booked. People do the social media and they appear on podcasts and their presence goes up, and before long they're getting more bookings and we're getting more downloads because you're getting more bookings. So it works out for everybody.
Right.
Now, do you work on the social media a lot? Do you concentrate on that?
I try to. I think I could personally push my gimmicks more on social media, but on the same side note, I do have a full-time job, so it's really hard for me because I'm working 50, 60 plus hours a week, and on my days off, I travel 3 or 4 hours to wrestle and come home.
Yeah.
And I don't have a job where I could work at home and then also promote wrestling. So, I mean, I do have Twitter, I have Instagram, I have changed my Instagram handles so that it's wrestling related, and I mean, it's just all a work in progress. My New Year's resolution was to push my social media base a little bit more. I have been trying to grow my Twitter, which I'm pretty proud of how far it's gotten from what it was, so it's still a work in progress.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, that's where I first discovered you was on Twitter. You were getting tags with other people that I had already knew of, and you go through and you meet people and you see different people online. I think I probably discovered you through Casey Carlisle, who did an appearance on the show.
I have to give a shout out to that. Whew. So Casey Carlisle, when I first started wrestling, I honestly wrestled her almost every month or every other month in any different promotion up and down the East Coast.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a lot of people that don't quite agree with the way Casey wrestles in the independent scene. And then there's a bunch of people that respect her, and I'm definitely on the side that respects her. The knowledge she has and the insight. And after mine and hers match, people be like, men cannot hang with what you guys just did out there because it was real. Like,
yeah,
Casey and I could put our bodies on the line and tell a story, and it would be magic and extremely believable because it was real. And that's what I love about working with Casey. And that's what she's instilled with me, and I try to carry on in all my matches.
Mm-hmm. Well, she knows how to work old school heel and make the crowds hate her. And it's that emotion that you get if you hate the wrestler or you love the wrestler or you believe the storyline or you're into it. When the heel comes out and they offend the crowd and then the babyface comes out and they're the hero of the match, that's what makes people pay attention to a match. And that's what makes people buy tickets.
It's not the flips you do. I mean, no offense to wrestling, because some of the flips people can do, I'm pretty impressed. I wish I could do it. And there's all different types of wrestling, but Casey Carlisle is an example of old school wrestling, developing the story and making people emotionally involved in the match, not just like, that was really cool, but the next match is this is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's, we saw her at WrestleCade, and I picked out what she did because she did it she was so nasty coming out of the ring. Just a hateful person. And then I meet her the next day at the autograph signings and stuff, and she's so sweet. And it's like,
yes,
she understands what she's supposed to be doing, because if she's this kind of person, but she can work that nasty of a heel, she understands wrestling. And a lot of people miss that. They go with the high spots. They try to just entertain everybody, and just show off and get their stuff in. But it's when you make someone care about what you're doing that really gets me. And women's wrestling to me, is better than men's wrestling at that.
I think we carry a different element that men can't even carry in that manner.
We all have more emotion. Yeah. Your emotion is very visceral in matches. And
oh yeah.
Now, who did you follow when you were a little kid as a wrestler?
Honestly, when I was a little kid, I didn't follow that much. I mean, I had older brothers, and I watched some. Like, it was around like Molly Holly and Victoria and things like that. But when I got older, I started watching more like Molly Holly. But as for women, like, I watched Mickie James because she was there. I love Victoria. I think Victoria's extremely underrated. Melina. There's a bunch of names. And then, like, I watch a lot more men's wrestling than women.
Uh-huh.
I'm
what do you
like
to watch? If you just sit down and watch wrestling, what do you like to watch?
I like watching British Bulldog, Eddie Guerrero. Who else? There's a bunch. This is tough. I like watching the old school matches, like Hogan, where they just show emotion. Like, it's more emotion. They do the three same things in every single match that's on the show, but it's a different story because what they bring to the table.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. Any of them.
Yeah. Do you have the OWE network?
Yes, of course.
That's
what gets me through my cardio.
That and the Fight app. We use the Fight app a lot to watch a lot of indie wrestling, and I just love that.
I try to watch, I like Lucha Underground. I mean, sometimes it doesn't make any sense, like, storyline-wise, but the shit they do is unreal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I just talked to Cobra Moon, Thunder Rosa last night, but we were doing a promo for the thing, and she is so sweet, and she was talking to me about what Lucha Underground, because my stepson is a huge Lucha Underground fan, and I don't know anything about it. I've never watched it, but they make it. Yeah, but they make it sound like it's this is super weird, cool comic book-esque thing.
Yes.
So you're a huge
So
fan?
imagine it's like a thrill like TV series with wrestling and characters because they develop all their characters, and you're just like, oh my gosh, no! And then it's wrestling and the personality and like the whole TV aspect of it, telling stories. It's like soaps and wrestling mixed together.
That does sound fascinating. I'm gonna have to do that. I'm on vacation right now.
It's on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
It's on Netflix. You can't miss it.
I just caught up on the last of Arrow, which is another one of my favorite series, and so I guess I'm gonna have to go to that. Oh yeah, the comic book things. So if the comic book series are close enoughly related to like the Lucha Underground stuff, I'm gonna have to try it. Try that out. A local guy in Atlanta, AR Fox. I think he wrestles under the name Dante Fox.
Form a lot, yes.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's a great guy. He's so nice too.
Yes.
Just an all around nice person.
Mm-hmm. That's what everybody has said. That a lot of my. It's hard to tell sometimes if they're your friends or you're a fan, but if you see the same guy multiple days, they always come up and talk to you. It's like at shows, it's like, well, maybe we are real friends. But a lot of the people I consider to be my friends train under him, and they all adore him.
He's a very nice guy.
I tell you what, I really appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you so much. This has been a whole lot of fun. I really wish you good luck in the tournament and in your career. And if you're ever in Atlanta, please post something about it on Facebook or Twitter so we can come out and see you live. Because I love that.
Yes, I will.
Yes. They're starting to do a lot more in women's wrestling in Atlanta, and I am so excited about it. But I really appreciate you coming on, and thank you so much. I hope you have a good evening. It's been a delightful interview with you. Thank you. That's Tess Valentine. Can you tell us where to reach you on social media?
It's Tess Valentine 9008 on Instagram, and then Tess Valentine on Twitter. You can't miss me except a glittery mermaid skirt on. So I'm really easy to follow.
Yep. Well, where do you sell your merch at?
At my shows, I sell some T-shirts, and then I have necklaces, and then I have mermaid soap. We make soap that has mermaid tails coming out of the top of it. That's pretty cool. No one ever thought they would see soap being sold at a wrestling show, but it's something different. So
no, well, every time I go to a show, there's usually someone there that needs soap. So that's a good thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, it's got a mermaid tail. I know you really want it, man. Take it home.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I appreciate this. And you have a wonderful night now.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, folks, this is Myron from the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast. Today I am joined by Nikki Adams, a wrestler out of the New York, New Jersey area, and one of the participants in the Raven Black Battle Royal. Or not the Battle Royal, the championship tournament. How you doing today, Nikki?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing wonderful, doing wonderful. I was looking through your Facebook, your Twitter, and looking over the Google search on you, just getting ready to make sure I had any questions. And you get to work on a lot of fairly big promotions up there, don't you?
I get to work on a few pretty good ones. Yes, I am fortunate like that. Of course, I'm looking to grow and expand more, but I can't complain. I work very hard. They're going pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had a Women of Honor match just recently, right?
Yes, I did in the end of October. That was a big deal. That meant a lot to me. That was something I was working very hard toward. I did the seminar, the first Women of Honor seminar in, I think, March, and then I got to hear back from them, and, they don't have, they're expanding the division now, and it's going great. Mm-hmm. So I heard back from them. They try to do things more like locally to where you are. Yeah. So I got to wrestle for them in the 2300 arena, which was great. I'd never got to do that before. So the whole thing was a great experience. And I'm pretty proud of that match, too. It was a good time.
Oh, it was a phenomenal debut. You were very strong. you showed that you were the equal of all the other women in the match. And you have these incredible kicks that are just watching some videos. You can connect with kicks, just these hard kicks. It's really impressive to see.
Thank you.
And also you're the WOW Women's Champion?
Currently, yes.
Okay. Wow. That's one of the promotions up in that area?
Yeah, it's out of New York. It's in Staten Island, and every so often, like every few shows, we decide to branch out to Brooklyn.
Okay. Cool. So that's you got to draw big houses on those shows up there?
Yeah, they do pretty well. You know, we always get a pretty good crowd, you know, and they love to be there. They're very supportive, so it's pretty good. And we have a lot of people that come in and work for the company as well, so it's doing pretty well.
Drawing big names?
In August I worked with Madison Rain, and that was great. Last January I worked with Lisa Marie Myron, obviously formerly Tara and Victoria, and that was incredible. They made us the first women's main event on like the show that featured the men as well.
That's great.
So that was an incredible experience on its own. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't see a lot of indie shows featuring women in the main event these days. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
now,
I mean, I was very proud of that, and so was Lisa. You know, she was great to work with. She was very excited. She didn't hold back at all. Like, she was all ready to go and have, like, a great match.
Everybody that I've talked to about her says she is very good to work with, a very nice woman.
Yeah, no, that is 100% accurate. She is one of the nicest people I've met, you know, especially, you know, I've watched her growing up. You know, she's definitely like one of my idols.
Yeah.
So I was nervous, but she was so kind and so generous and really made sure that, you know, I shined in the match. Like, she was really generous.
That's great to hear. It's great to hear people giving back like that and not burying people and putting over the younger talent. Like, it's good to see that kind of stuff happening in the business.
It was a blessing.
Excellent. Now, I watched your promo you did for the Raven Black show, and I'm assuming you work heel fairly regular?
Actually, I used to, like, all the time. For the first few years in my career, I was predominantly always a heel. Now it seems like everywhere I go, I'm a baby face, but I will be a heel there, so. Which I guess it makes sense, you know. You have a mermaid, and then there's Santana, of course, so.
Yeah, she's doing pretty good in the business right now. Have you ever worked with her before?
I worked with her once before a few years ago. I want to say like 2015 in North Carolina. It was a big show, and it was like all for women. It was, I think, Masters of the Ring. That's actually when I first met her. That's when I first met Lisa. Trish was there. Lita was there. It was a whole big like tribute to women. Ivory. It was quite an experience. But yeah, I got to work with Santana then, and I was a heel and she was a face. So.
Well, cool. I saw the promo, and you look like you definitely had the heel bit down, and you were you're in a pretty good bracket there for the first match. It's I think that it's going to be a great match. Mm-hmm. Clearly, I'm going to win, obviously. But, exactly.
I appreciate their effort.
Now, do you work a lot of intergender matches? I think that's, from my experience, that's more prevalent up north than it is down here in the South.
I do. Actually, this past weekend, I worked in the intergender match. And yeah, I have. Honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to even count how many. It's been it's been a lot.
Do you enjoy that, or something that you have a problem with?
No, I do like intergender matches. I think they're fun. I think it's nice to showcase women as equals. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, a lot of people like doing it, especially the women that I've talked to. They enjoy doing them. I only talked to a couple that didn't like them, and those are more old school folks.
preference.
Uh-huh. Well, they like you said, you get to show off your skills as equal against the men, and they find it to be rewarding to be able to do that.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think it's great. You know, I think it's also, like, in a lot of ways, you know, before, like, the women's revolution, like, started to really kick off and, like, intergender matches were happening, I think that they were helping me a lot, actually, in some ways, because, you know, a lot of people wouldn't even bother taking the time to necessarily even pay attention to the women's match, but even though it was, like, a man versus a woman, so they're like, oh, it's a female, but it was an attraction that people wanted to see, and you could display the skills you have that actually would get people's attention to be like, well, wait a minute, this is someone to watch, you know, or maybe we should actually, like, give women's wrestling a chance.
That's a cool way. That's a cool way to look at it, because, you know, before the revolution, it was a different, it had to have been a different business for y'all out there.
Yes.
You've been wrestling.
There was opportunity, but, like, it mattered. Like, you had to, like, and everyone works obviously hard now, but, like, your recognition is there. So it's like your payoff at least is there. Like, you work so hard, and then, like, most of the time, like, people wouldn't even want to pay attention to you.
Yeah.
Or they'd be like, oh, it's a women's match, what can you really expect, you know? But now, the mindset's completely different, and people are like, oh, the women's match is on, I gotta watch this.
Oh, definitely. Those are usually the best matches on any shows, because women are now allowed to show so much emotion and get so intense that they're usually a bigger draw.
Yeah, like, the women's matches are definitely, sometimes I think they're more intense than the men's, but I guess
I agree.
Working so hard. We kind of have to be.
Yeah. Well, what made you decide to get in the wrestling business?
I love wrestling. I have. I've been a fan my entire life. I used to watch it with my dad. And I guess I was just one of those kids that was looking at the TV, and I was like, I bet I could do that. And, you know, I originally told my parents. They thought I was completely insane. They did not make it easy for me at all. Like, I had to go to school and that kind of stuff, and I had to be able to pay for all my bills, live by myself, and sustain all my bills on my own. And then if I could afford to pay for wrestling school in addition to that, you know, like my car, my rent, like car insurance, like, you know, food, obviously, gas, you name it, then I could go. Because really, what were they going to do? I wasn't under their roof.
Yeah.
But they weren't going to give me money to help with any of my bills or to pay for my wrestling school. I had to make it work on my own.
Well, that's a way to make sure you really want to do this, I guess, you know?
I guess. And now they still look at me. They're like, you're still damaging your body. And I'm like, yep.
Well,
yes, I am.
My mother still looks at me that way. And I've been in my job 20 years and she still doesn't believe I do it. So, and I'm not even a wrestler. So it might be a parent's thing, you know?
Well, I guess, you know, a parent is a parent. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. I've got a 14-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old son, and I'm not quite sure what they're going to want to do for a living. And just waiting and let them go, you know, trying to make sure they just make whatever decision's right. But you seem to have made the right decision. You've been successful at this.
Thank you. I mean, it's been a long, hard journey, I guess. But if you stay patient and you work really hard, you know, things do start to open up. Like, I think maybe in, like, the middle of 2016, things started to, like, pick up. And then 2017, things exploded, you know? So,
yeah. Now,
it took a little bit, but it comes.
Where do you see yourself going in the business?
I don't know. I'm not a psychic, but I know where I'd like to go.
What's that?
I definitely would like to travel more. I would like to go to Japan and the UK. I would like to work for Ring of Honor regularly. And, you know, if I'm lucky enough for other opportunities to present themselves, I would definitely like to give that a shot, too.
Well, that's great. That's a good way to keep it open like that. Have you done any traveling?
I've only been in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Everybody I talk to says that the traveling is so important right now. And it's so, you know, they have so much fun on these trips.
Well, I'm definitely working on that to try to make that happen soon.
Cool. Yeah. Japan and England is a really great place for wrestling right now, too.
Yeah, that place definitely, like, I've heard so many things in the past year about it, and I would really like to go if I can.
But you're staying booked pretty consistently, though, right now. New York, New Jersey?
Yeah.
Now,
throughout this area, like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Delaware is now coming up. In this area, yeah, I'm pretty active. Last year, I think up until December, I was booked almost every single weekend except for like 2 or 3 weekends. And then I just took a few weeks off in December. I was trying to heal my shoulder.
Yeah. Well, that's real impressive to get booked that much, because I know a lot of people, you know, they are lucky to get one booking a month. And if you're booked nonstop like that, you must be pretty well thought of up there in the promotions. Have you ever?
Certainly helps, though. But there's also a lot of promotions over here, so that could be like the advantage too.
What's the independent scene like up there? Down here, it's there's probably 8 or 9 promotions that run within the Metro Atlanta area on a regular basis, usually once a month.
Oh, there's a ton in this area. I don't even know, like, to give you an actual number, I don't know, but there is definitely more than 9. You know, there's times where, like, there's a weekend, and there's, like, 4 or 5 different shows in the area, like, either in New Jersey, New York, or whatever, all, like, close to each other, and they're all running on the same day. Yeah.
You ever work 2 shows at the same day?
Yes.
That's gotta be stressful.
And, it's hard, but, it's fun, and it's worth it if you can do it.
Yeah. Now, will this be your first time out in Delaware for this promotion?
I think this is going to be the first time being in Delaware wrestling. I don't think I've wrestled in Delaware yet.
How far away is that from where you're at now?
I think it's about 4 hours or so, 4.5 maybe.
Wow. So they must be doing pretty good to bring you in for that long a trip. They've got a lot of stars on this card.
Yeah, the show is beyond stacked. Like, I'm excited for it. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, it's gonna be a great show. So
yeah, I can imagine, because it's got talent from all over the place. It's got talent that's been on just about every promotion. Look, you know, you've been on the Women of Honor. Most of these people have been on major name shows too. So it's gonna be an amazing show. I just was trying to figure out, God, the payroll's got to be huge on this one. This guy must really want to get this program over. And on top of it, they're going to be giving some of the money to a breast cancer patient right now. So I thought that was really cool.
You know, that is anything for any type of charity is it's wonderful.
Yep. I think that's going to be a really good thing that they got going on, and they're going to be bringing in a lot of people. They've got seminars going on. Thunder Rosa's giving one. I really think these people, they're very well organized. Every time I ask them a question, they've got the answer right away for me. So.
Oh yeah, same. No, they've been like so on point, so with everything, and nothing's ever like last minute or like this, that. Like everything is so organized, which is nice.
Yep. Now, where did you train?
What was that?
Where did you train at?
I started training at New York Wrestling Connection in Deer Park. That's on Long Island, New York. I stayed there for a few years, and then I started training over at Create a Pro, which is part of Wrestle Pro. I go to the Long Island location. It's in Hicksville. And then I also go over to WOW to train over there as well sometimes.
So they've got their own facility?
Yes.
That's cool. We get a lot of people that I know down here that go up to Wrestler's Laboratory.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of people go over there. I've actually been wanting to go over there. I just have not had a chance to do so yet.
And these guys, I mean, they drive up from Atlanta, they go up and they do a weekend show, and they do, I guess, some training, and then come home, and everybody speaks really highly of it.
Oh, yeah, I hear only good things. I know a lot of the students over there, too, and, like, they're wonderful. They work really hard, and overall, they just seem like a tight-knit, like, family, so it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have any goals for the next couple of years besides going overseas?
To take over the world, but I figure that's everyone's goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I just want to grow, but, like, in every way. Like, obviously, like, wrestling is my passion. It's my life. You know, I want to expand in every way possible. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm hoping that, like, great opportunities do present itself or become available. I would love to do, like, I'd love to grow and expand as much as possible in wrestling, but also, like, in life.
Yeah.
You know? There's, like, always room for growth as a person. I mean, it doesn't mean you're a bad person or anything, but, like, that's your life's journey. You're supposed to grow. Like, as you grow with one thing, you're supposed to grow as a human being as well. So, I mean, honestly, I'm just really, you know, your goal is to be satisfied, to feel like you're fulfilling every purpose, and that you're happy with yourself and your life.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm, definitely. That's a really good attitude you've got there. That's going to go, that's a way you go far when you think like that. You know, you keep
I hope so.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really do wish you the best of luck in this, your career in this tournament. And I really appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now,
like I always appreciate when people are like, oh, we'd love to, like, talk and interview you. I'm like, oh, wow,
yeah.
me? You know, thank you.
Oh, definitely. Once I saw that match, that Women of Honor match, that was just absolute dynamite. You know, you've got a big potential ahead of you.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Where can folks find you on social media?
Well, pretty much, thank God, it's all very simple. On Facebook, it's just Nikki Adams. It's 2 Ks and 2 Ds. On Twitter, it's at the Nikki Adams. On Instagram, it's at Nikki Adams, so it's the same thing, just without the the. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much all I got going on for social media right now. I'm probably going to work on some other stuff soon, but that's pretty much it. That's where you'll find me.
Where can people buy your merchandise?
Well, I'm working on something for Pro Wrestling Tees, so that'll be coming soon. As of right now, though, it's just kind of like you can either message me and I can send stuff out and do PayPal, or in person at shows. Oh,
cool. That's excellent, because you can get some people who have opportunities that can't get to your shows but still like watching you, you know, on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I've sent plenty of stuff out. You know, I get, like, messages, like, either emails or something on, like, Facebook, and then, you know, we just discuss what they want, and then I get their information, and I send it out, and they send me a payment through PayPal. PayPal's great.
Oh, definitely. I use it for a lot of our stuff, and we've got a PayPal account for the show that we use for just about everything. We also have a Pro Wrestling Tee store, and that's a great place. Really good to do.
Yeah, I was actually, like, they were telling me about that they want to do maybe, like, shirts and, like, do something with some of the talent. So, yeah, we were talking about that. So that might be something coming up soon, too. That'd be great.
Yep. Well, once again, I appreciate you coming on, and great luck in the show, and good luck on the rest of your wrestling. And I hope you have a good evening. Folks, that's Nikki Adams. Look out for her. She's going to be doing big things in the wrestling business.
Thank you so much.
You have a great night now. Thank you.
You too.
Hey, folks, this is Myron from the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. Tonight, I am joined by one of the participants in the first annual Raven Black Memorial Tournament, Miss Davion. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. This is my first time meeting you, and I'm not really that versed on the northern women's wrestling scene right now. How long have you been in the wrestling business?
5 years.
5 years. And of the girls in the tournament, do you know of any of them? Have you wrestled them before?
I have wrestled Jordan Grace before. I have wrestled Deonna Purrazzo. I know of. I wrestled Nikki Adams. I know also Nyla Rose and Maria Manic. I don't believe they're in tournament action though. I know who Santana Garrett is. I've wrestled Thunder Rosa.
Wow. Those are really big names right now. You've got some really good matches there under your belt.
I do.
Cool. And so you wrestle around the Massachusetts area mainly, or do you travel a lot?
Northeast. I've traveled to Canada and Japan as well.
I saw where you'd been to Japan. How was that experience?
It was very different.
Now, who did you wrestle for over there?
Marvelous.
Uh-huh. And it was a all women's tour, or do they have mixed shows?
Yes, it was an all women's tour. They brought over 2 girls from the United States to stay in their dojo. So I lived over there for 10 weeks.
10 weeks. That's a long time.
It was a very long time. But a great experience. The women I stayed with were so talented and like so welcoming, and I learned a lot, and the fans over there are just absolutely incredible.
Are they like the fans on Wrestle Kingdom, where they just sit there and respect, or they get more animated?
Sometimes they get more animated, mostly like in the main event of shows, but most of the time, they're very quiet.
Because I tried to watch Wrestle Kingdom this year, and it's just, I mean, nothing against the quality of the wrestling. The wrestling's great, but the atmosphere is just so different.
It is. It is very different. It's not like here in America where you kind of like play to the people. Mm-hmm. You just got to show them what you got, and they'll clap when you do something cool.
So you just focus on the quality of your match.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, well, that's cool. That's cool. That's what I was noticing from the Wrestle Kingdom show is they were very conscientious about putting on the best match they could possibly put on, and they didn't work to the crowd at all. So
right,
it's different.
That's what they like over there.
Now, did you pick up anything on this tour? Did you learn some Japanese? Did you learn some new techniques or anything?
I actually did learn some Japanese, just like their basic words. So like hello and goodbye. I don't exactly remember what they say before and after they eat. Mm-hmm. But like the word for bathroom, refrigerator, water, and how to say my back is injured because I did hurt my back when I was over there, so they taught me how to say that if it was bad after a match.
Okay. Well, that's cool. So you've wrestled in Japan, you wrestled in Canada. How did you get involved with the Capital Wrestling Alliance?
They actually just sent me a message on Twitter to see if I was available for their show. And I had the date open, and that was that. I had actually heard of it from some of the girls in New England that were booked. So when they sent me the message, I was like, okay, cool. It's be a fun little road trip.
So I'm not. How far is Delaware away from where you're at?
It's like 6 to 7 hours.
Okay, it's similar from when we go to Mississippi to see shows. We're out of Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
And I got involved with them through Rebel Life Media. I had talked to the guy who runs that and does the film production for them. And he's going to be at the tournament, and he's going to be talking to people. And he put me in charge, put me in touch with the promoter, and these people have been super nice. Just based on that, I've been very impressed with their promotion.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a benefit show too, for a breast cancer sufferer that's a first responder. So you can't get any better than that, you know?
No, you really can't.
Have you found out who you're paired with in the first round?
I have Jordan Grace and Angela Lane.
Oh, I have seen footage of her. She wrestles around the Tennessee area for one of my friends' promotions. She's a bruiser.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, she threw a fireball at a promoter in Virginia a while back. Oh. Scared the hell out of me just watching the footage. So I was like, wow, she's crazy, but she's big around that area. She's probably, I've seen Lacey Lane wrestle in person. The rest of the girls I've not been able to get to see live, except for Thunder Rosa. I have seen her live too. And they've even got a mystery opponent in this one.
They do.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
So,
thing to see who that is.
Yeah, that's kind of intriguing. It's kind of intriguing who that's going to be. Well, where did you go when you wanted to start your wrestling career?
The New England Pro Wrestling Academy.
New England Pro Wrestling Academy. Is that one of the bigger schools in the area?
It is.
Okay. And who were you trained by?
Brian Fury and Warbeard Hansen.
That's a big name right now.
It is.
I hear he's got a new job coming up in the WWE.
May
Wow.
He may just be.
So you had good training then, and you started getting out working the independents?
Yes. So I had my first show after like 4 months of training, where I was just managing, and then I had my first match after 8 months of training, and it was for Ring of Honor WrestleMania weekend in the Manhattan Center.
Okay. Wow.
So, yeah.
Pretty big start there.
Kind of a crazy first match, yeah.
Yeah. That's a big week. I know everybody's in town got their eyes on wrestling that week, so you probably got out there in front of some serious wrestling people.
Yeah. Luckily, they didn't boo me out of the building. So.
How did you handle the pressure? Were you nervous?
I was freaking out for like the whole week prior.
Well, whatever you did worked because you're getting around now.
I guess so.
Because, not everybody gets to go to Canada. We had a girl down here, not Canada, Japan. We had a girl here in the Georgia area who just got picked to go on a tour, and it's a big deal.
It is.
It's a big deal because not everybody gets to go, and traveling is so important to independent wrestlers these days.
Oh, absolutely.
So you got your passport, and you can move around. What did you do in Canada?
That's right. I just went for one show for a day. So I wrestled Madison. I wrestled in a tournament. I wrestled Madison Miles in the first round, and then Delmy Expo in the second round. Who she's from New England as well. And it was the inaugural Women's Championship tournament for IWE was the company in Miramichi, Canada.
Yeah, I am not familiar with Canada at all, but we have a correspondent that lives up there, and it's a big wrestling scene in Canada. He gets so many people coming on out of there that it's just amazing. That's cool. What made you decide to get into wrestling though?
I was just a fan when I was like 11, and I decided that that's what I wanted to do. So I graduated high school early, started working full time to be able to pay for training in a car. And like ever since I was 11, this has just been my dream. So
you were so dedicated, you went straight into it.
Yeah.
Focused on it. Wow.
Yep.
So you got out, you got your car, you got your money for training, you went to training, you got on a Ring of Honor show for your first match. That's a pretty good track there. Where do you see that track going?
Ideally, I have a lot of big plans for this year. I will have a tour of Europe at the end of 2018. I have that planned. I would hope to start working for Ring of Honor again. Shine or Shimmer is also on my list of promotions I would like to work for. So I really think this year I want to travel a lot more.
I think that's what everybody is trying to do. So the bigger name they make for themselves out there on the road, it seems to benefit them so much in their career.
Yes.
So Europe, where are you going to wrestle? The Germany, the France type thing, or?
England will be the first stop. I have a sponsor in England. And then we've been in talks with some companies in Germany and just trying to see where exactly I can get booked for the week to 10 days that I'm there.
Mm-hmm. And you learned through networking wrestling to get a sponsor like that?
Yes.
You seem to have made a lot of good connections too.
Yeah, I try.
Why do you think you're going to win this tournament?
I mean, I never even thought about the why. I just thought I just knew I was going to. I believe I am not only the best wrestler in New England, but I'm the best wrestler on that show. So, it never even crossed my mind that I wouldn't win it.
Wow, that's pretty confidence is impressive there. That's great. You gotta have that. Believe in yourself.
You do.
Nobody else will first.
That's right.
What kind of style do you wrestle?
I have a very aggressive, gritty, ground and pound, strong style.
That's that tough girl type thing.
Yes.
What is that?
I think
go ahead.
I think my first round match is going to be probably one of the hardest hitting on the show.
Well, I know the two girls. Now, is it how's it breaking down? Is it 3 woman matches at a time or singles matches?
Yes, the first round is triple threat matches.
Oh my God, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh God, I've seen Jordan Grace a lot. She's out there a lot on YouTube and social media, and she's a brutal one. She
is. I actually just wrestled her in the finals of a tournament.
So you're used to getting into the finals of tournaments.
I am. I am used to. I've been in 2017. I was in, I want to say, 4 tournaments, and I was in the finals in all of them.
Wow. So you are booked very strong.
Very strong.
Oh wow. I'm gonna have to take some time and pay more attention to your matches then. It's good to see. It's really good to see women these days are able to work so many different styles and so many different kinds of wrestling, and that you've got women that can do the lucha, and you've got women that can do the strong style and the submission styles and all those different things. It's just such a wonderful time for women's wrestling.
It really is.
Now, did you watch the Glow series on Netflix?
I did. I have to rewatch it though before season 2 comes out.
Yeah.
Because I'm terrible at TV. I'm the worst. I will watch. I watch TV while I'm doing things. So while I'm doing laundry or cooking or something. So I miss a lot of important details. Or I'll just put it on before I go to bed, and I need to rewatch one episode 6 times, and I don't retain anything.
Yeah, I have to be real careful about that if I want to pay attention to stuff, because I don't retain much either. What else do you like to watch on TV?
I believe I watched the opening scene 20 times.
That show was a big hit though, and I enjoyed it a lot.
It was awesome that it was so successful.
Yeah. And a lot of the girls that were on the original show they're coming out and they're doing more now. Yeah, and they're still making money off of it.
Yeah.
It's a great phenomenon right now in the women's wrestling. It's people are starting to pay attention. More women are starting to come up on shows, and more promoters are doing all women shows.
Yes.
Which is great. Now, have you ever, go ahead.
It's all good things.
Yes. Now, do you wrestle the intergender matches, or?
I've done a few. When I first started training, I was the only girl at my school.
Uh-huh.
So, like, I was just used to just wrestling the boys. I've done a couple intergender matches, which I do enjoy. It's fun to just kind of switch it up every once in a while. And I've been blessed to be able to wrestle, like, the guys that I train with on shows.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. We know each other, and we can do a lot of cool stuff. So, I mean, I'm just kind of biased and would like to wrestle the guys that I wrestle all the time on shows. Like, all my brothers that I train with. If I had my choice. But, like, I'm definitely open to intergender.
I see that popping up, and I'm still not quite sure how I feel about it. And I know a lot of female wrestlers are very positive about it and enjoy doing it.
Yeah, it's just like, I guess it's just because it's something new. It's kind of like working like any kind of specialty match. Like, it's just different from what you're doing every weekend. So, with the guys, you can tell a really cool story. So that's why I think it's fun. You can do a lot with it. Sometimes you can have a serious match. Sometimes you can have a comedy match. And just kind of, just telling that story.
Now, do you work a lot of comedy, or is that something you do just occasionally?
No, not often. I did one for Limitless Wrestling where I wrestled Big Daddy Beluga, whose character is a male stripper.
Okay. There's a couple of large men that do that routine.
So I trained with him. So I've known him since he first started. And he's like one of my favorite people on the face of the planet. So we thought it was funny, and like we did a lot of comedy in that match. I also wrestled Josh Briggs in one of like my favorite matches from 2017. Josh is super talented and one to watch out for. And we had like a very serious intergender match. So those two, I believe, are like the two intergender matches I've done on shows in my, like most recently. And two of my favorite.
I don't think intergender gets a lot of play in the South where I live, as much as it do in the North and out West.
Right.
I saw something while I was flipped through your Twitter page. You've got an upcoming match with Casey Carlisle.
I do.
And we had her on after WrestleCade, and she is terrific.
I love Casey Carlisle. I have been wanting to wrestle Casey Carlisle for like 4 years.
She was so far has been our number one women's downloaded show. She was just so friendly, so nice, so well organized. Which, it's just rare you meet somebody who's got the experience she has. She has.
True. She's incredible.
She's very nice.
So happy I'm finally wrestling her.
So you've known about her for a while, or?
I have. So we actually, the first all-women's promotion I ever worked for was this company in New York called Valkyrie. And Casey worked there as well. And right before the company shut down, they were actually going to do another tournament, where I was going to win, and then I would have a storyline with Casey for her title. And it bummed me out so bad that I didn't get to wrestle her. I had actually known about her because she tag teamed with my trainer on a show in New England. So I went into Valkyrie knowing who she was. And like, she's just amazing. She's so talented. So I was super bummed out that we didn't get to work a story, but finally we get to wrestle each other.
Oh yeah. She is when she's in the ring, she is just a nasty heel. Just a
He is.
good heel.
He is.
Do you work mainly heel or do you work face or what?
I do. I was a baby face for like the first 3 years of my career, and it really just didn't work. It was just very forced.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm not a nice person, but I'm very quiet and reserved. So trying to get people to like me is not easy. But because I'm very quiet and shy, I do have this resting bitch face, which really, really works as a heel because it's just my neutral face, and people just look at me and hate me, and it's great. I don't need to do anything.
So it's more fun being a heel than a face.
It's much more fun. It's way easier to get people to dislike you too than to like you.
That is great because I've heard so many people say that.
Yeah.
And you kind of, being a heel is cool right now.
It is. I try not to be the cool heel because then I'm not getting my job done.
Yeah.
If I'm a heel, I'm supposed to be disliked, and that's just the way it is. I try not to do anything really flashy or cool to be the cool heel because I don't want people to like me. I want them to be oh, she's the worst. We don't want her to win.
The old school heel.
Old school, yeah.
That Kevin Owens, that popular Kevin Owens style heel that I still don't understand. I like the old fashioned heels. I like the Ric Flair, the monsters, the people that you just hated.
Right.
Because the emotion makes people serious about wrestling.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of lacking with wrestling today. Yeah. I think you constantly have to evolve. Mm-hmm. But I do still try to hold the core emotion, mm-hmm. As well with the evolution of what wrestling is.
Mm-hmm. So you've watched a lot of wrestling then?
I try to.
Mm-hmm. So growing up as a kid, what was your promotion you watched that got you wanting to do this?
I always watched WWE.
Okay. That's mainly what I got as a kid too.
Yes. So I started watching in 2004, 2005. And really, I really only watched WWE. I didn't even know independent wrestling was a thing until I started training to wrestle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's very similar to us because I did not understand the independent wrestling scene until we started doing the podcast. Mm-hmm. And then before long, it's why don't we go to wrestling? I'm tired of talking about WWE. And now we go to shows every free minute we have to the point our wives are just not very happy about it. But yeah, indie wrestling is so great right now.
It is. And it's great to be involved in it right now.
Mm-hmm. Just the fact that these people are putting on a tournament there and they've got names that have either had contracts or have contracts, and it's just wonderful that there's that many talented women out there. And that's just, there'll probably be 4 other tournaments around that same day in different parts of the country. And there's so many talented women, they won't have trouble finding them to fill those shoes. It's just a great time for wrestling.
It is.
Now, aren't there other type of matches on this card? I saw that Amazing Maria is going to be on the card.
Yes, I believe there is a couple tag matches. I want to say there's a battle royal too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a jam-packed card.
So $20 gets you the first 2 rows at the show. That's insane.
Yeah.
General admission's only $15 for this pack to show. That's just something I don't think anybody in that area should miss.
No, definitely not.
And that's the Continental Wrestling Association, Scottish Wrestlers Alliance. I was getting that wrong. The first annual Raven Black Memorial Tournament. Well, Davion, am I getting it right? Is that it?
Davian.
Davian. Davey, let me write that down phonetically. Okay. It sure has been a pleasure having you on the show today. Seemed like you're ready for big things in women's wrestling, and it's been an honor meeting you.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
I hope to find out more, and I hope you do very well in this tournament, and maybe you'll come back and do the interview when you're the winner. How about that?
That's right. That sounds good.
Folks, look for this tournament. Look for Davey in. She's going to have a big future in women's wrestling these days. So, everyone, try to get out to this tournament. Thank you again. You have a wonderful night, and we do appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. You too.
I hope you enjoyed that. Brought you 5 of the most fascinating women in wrestling now. Fierce competitors for the first annual Raven Black tournament put on by Capital Wrestling Alliance. You can find them at www.cwawrestlingaction.com for tickets. Thanks.